I think we are entering a series that we all kind of need. We need this series. We're overwhelmed. There's lots of things going on around us. So I'm so glad for our teaching team stepping us into this new series called Overwhelmed. Steve, you're up first. I've already learned all sorts of things about the ravens being unclean birds and the fact that it's, this contrast, or this cognitive dissonance for Elijah having to work with, receiving God's blessing from a Gentile woman. Anyways, I loved
widow.
it. Oh my gosh, yeah, so cool, so cool. I loved it. Hey, the question for you though, if the Lord saw fit to bring you food using what kind of birds would it be if it was up to you?
Hummingbird.
A humming.
Yeah.
It'd be tiny foods.
Maybe. They're pretty
little
strong.
kernels of corn.
They're pretty strong.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Welcome to the Science Hour.
I'm getting more and more into birds.
Christian.
I feel like they can carry a lot of their body weight. And I don't have to worry too much about how, what they're getting into.
Yeah, that's true.
They're pretty clean.
I like hummingbirds. They look pretty clean.
Yeah,
they're little
fast.
dishes. They're
you wouldn't
fast.
have to wait too long.
That's right. They should work for DoorDash. Yeah. So good. You talked about how God's abundance often shows up in unexpected people, unexpected places, and how can we prepare our hearts to kind of recognize and receive it when God's blessing comes from a place where we don't expect it, or especially from people not like us?
I think it begins with acknowledging and being honest with ourselves about areas that we have need. I think so much of cultural norms for us here in the U.S. is like just put on appearances, make sure you look like you have everything together, and then because of that, it's really easy to draw lines between who's worthy of helping you, right? Like there's people that we help, and then there's people that that's all we do. We help people, we don't let people help us. And so I think first it begins with acknowledging there's areas of need in our lives, whether it be financial or time or the amount of people that I glean wisdom from just because they're present in my life. It's and I readily admit I need more wisdom. So I think posturing yourself as someone that doesn't have it all together and doesn't know it all and isn't completely secure in every way, shape, and form,
But doesn't it go both ways? It's not just us learning how to be more open and honest about our needs, because that's kind of a no in our society.
Right.
But the other way too, we have to be okay with having people come to us with their needs
100%.
And not then going, oh, they're that type of person.
100%.
They're needy, they're, so we have to position ourselves a whole different way.
But I think a lot of that begins with relationship too. The people in my life that, right or wrong, the people in my life that I accept help from most often are the people that are closest to me.
Yeah.
Whether it be my parents or some of my best friends. Why can't that be true of our church? Why can't that be true of people that we are in fellowship with all the time?
Keeping up appearances, Steve. We're trying.
But that's
to
what I'm
keep
saying.
up
We got to
appearances.
push back against that. That's like a cultural norm that we have to run from.
Yeah.
Because it's not what church is. That's
Well,
not
if you
what it
come
means to be part of
to
a community.
if you come to our online community groups, people there know what a mess I am. So, but it's harder to do.
Know too here. So
We all know.
we're fine with that, Christian.
So true. Now, scarcity. I thought you brought that up so well, and so often it pushes us towards self-protection. It's where isolation is born when we think in a scarcity type of way. What are some practical ways we can push back against that pull and live out community when our resources honestly feel really tight?
Yeah, I think we put a lot of stock in resources. You just said resources feel tight. Okay, money, but do things feel tight? Do
all of
possessions time, energy? There's so much opportunity where if they feel tight, it's probably because we're looking inward.
Right.
It's I got to do this so that I can get this taken care of. And so I think practically it's first taking an inventory of what we do have and looking at those as blessing and provision and abundance, really. And if you look at what you do have as abundance, all of a sudden it's okay, I have, so how do I share? And I think it's just a posturing of your mind and how you approach things is if I view the things in my life, whether it be relationships or finances or materials or whatever, time, energy, if I look at those as abundance, as God, as part of God's abundance, and not the scarcity mindset or the myth of scarcity as Brueggemann talked about, then all of a sudden I'm so much more apt to go in abundance.
Yeah.
I can share, and that's where you start doing this and you stop doing this, and that's so much of our culture.
And that's when we need each other.
Yeah.
We need to be reminded of that, and we need to be in a place where we feel safe to do this.
But it starts with community, right? Like, to your point, it starts with the ability to know and understand where people are at.
Yep.
And so in community you can share honestly about where you're at, and in community you can provide because you know, oh, that's what that person needs.
Yep.
I can meet that need. Boom, done. But we put so much structure and we put so much around it where it's like, hey, see a need, meet the need.
Yeah.
If you can meet it, great. If you can't, find somebody else who can.
I'm starting to learn more and more that we are a people of community, but we have these individual wills and individual thoughts, and it's just not helpful for us. Can you imagine if bees did that? I can imagine if ants did that, who also, you can't just go off and do your own thing, and yet that's what we do. We close our door and we think we can live on our own. And
well, even thinking like of talents and gifting and abilities, it's like those are mine. Those are my, but what if I looked at those things not for what I can gain, but for how I can help you? So yeah, my individualism is beautiful, and like who I am as,
sure,
and who you are as an individual is fantastic.
Thank you, by the way.
Most of the time. What if we looked at those things as how do we strengthen each other?
Yeah.
And we aren't positioned to think that way very often. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
I thought
that.
you were just checking your watch. Like,
no,
it's
I'm
time
getting
for
a
you
call
to
from
shut up.
some spam caller, telemarketer figures, right? Hey, can I ask you, can we find one place this week where we feel that pull of scarcity, where we're tempted to hold tightly, and then we'll take a step where we open up our hands, a step of generosity. It could be with money, with time, with encouragement, or maybe even letting someone borrow something that you normally protect.
Yeah.
That's hard. But put in the chat or in the comments what that thing might be for you, okay? And don't do it because it's easy, but because it's a way of saying, God, I trust you. You are enough.
Yeah.
Now imagine what would happen if we all did that. If hundreds of us chose to live from God's abundance instead of fear. Needs would be met. Burdens would be lifted. People would see God and the kingdom of God breaking through in the everyday, and we would discover together that even when the jar feels empty, love never runs out. And join us for that, because as Steve Ingold, you said it so well, God provides, God liberates, and God invites us into community where there is enough for all. And before we wrap up, I want to put a question on the screen that you can take with you into your conversations with someone beside you, or in the chat, or in a group text, or maybe later in your journal. Here it is. Where in your life do you feel there's not enough? And then what would it look like to trust God's abundance in that exact place? I'm so glad you were here for this, and I can't wait to see you next time.